do. I went to work for a very large company doing water and sewer design for the city of Jacksonville. I did the master planning for the water and the sewer, for the city of Jacksonville that's still being used today. Some of the designs that are the pumping stations that pump the sewage, were built to the capacity, and I don't think they have reached that capacity. But if you put them in the ground, you had to design them such that they would serve 40, 50 years into the future. Mm-hmm. I got projects that are running now 30 years, and been running all that time. So so I know they're working. And I did that as a junior engineer, but very important in what was being done. The recommendations that I made were actually implemented. Mm-hmm. As a result of that, I became I was appointed by Mayor Godbold, to the Environmental Protection Board. I served there for about 10 years, and I was the chairman of the board, right there towards the end. And that came because of my, the environmental experience that I had in, helping make the city some. Because I was there, is the reason why the city passed the water rule and the sewage rule. One of the things that was happening back then is that there was a lawsuit for discrimination between the NAACP and the school board. Okay, and the way that the school board behaved, was just black and white. They could care less, Native Americans, Hispanics, Indians or whatever. They did not account for that. And when George took his problems, of discrimination to, we haven't got that data. They said, we don't recognize count anyway, because what we have to meet is that we have to meet the black imposed requirement, black court imposed requirements, of the settlement. There was a set aside of sorts at the city purchasing. Okay, and George had brought this up, to friends that used to get. There were two architects. There were one engineer, George, and several other business people that used to get together, and we would talk about that. Okay, and then the city purchasing department, went ahead and passed a set aside rule. Okay, but that only recognized, blacks and women. The women, I mean, the blacks, were in there because of the lawsuit of the NAACP, and they passed that for public hearing, and we saw that as said, guys, we just been taking, whatever access we had, we've been taken out of it, so we said, what do we do? And then that's when we started Hispanic American Business Association. Okay, and we represented not only us, but also the Native Americans, which were only two guys, and then the Indians, the Asian Americans, and then on the basis of that, we went to Warren. Warren was a very junior. I think that he had just been elected. We told him, you being black, you ought to recognize that's not fair. He said, we're going to take this thing apart. And each of us, knew just about the entire council. And that's the word that we got back to them. And they said, well, Clark, this whole thing's going to derail anyway, because in order to be able to do a set aside, there has got to be a study, for disparity, and it's going to take us about a year to do that. And it says, if you guys, hang tight, and don't agitate and, threaten and all of the things that we, had communicated to them, it says, we'll go ahead and get you included, according to and then we agreed to do that. And that, in fact, did happen. We became active during that whole 1 year period because we did everything politically and business-wise possible, to unite the Hispanic community. Yeah, a consultant came back and did the disparity study. They went through the review, and then I guess it went back to writing of the ordinance, and then the ordinance was promulgated and passed.